Hello friends, it is a database management system NPTEL course assignment 7 which is conducted in April 2019. Question number 1. Which of these are false about transactions? Here question is about which is false about these transactions. Option A given, multiple transactions can execute concurrently whether they are isolated or not. This is a false statement. Actually, multiple transactions can execute concurrently. To provide isolation, isolation says each transaction does not know what is happening with other transactions. So isolation is implemented by executing the transactions concurrently. Because it is given or not is given, so this statement is false. So answer for the question 1 is A. Check for other options also, because in NPTEL assignments there may be multiple options true. So check all options and read carefully. If a transaction completes successfully, anything it changes in the database must persist. Here the word persist says permanent. Means if a transaction is completed successfully, all updates done by a transactions will become permanent even if system failures. So option B is true statement, because question is about false. Option B is wrong. Option C, either all operations of a transactions are executed properly or none. This is a true statement. This is indicating the atomicity property of a transaction. What atomicity says? Either all operations of a transactions are executed properly or none at all. So option C is also true statement, because question is about false. So option C wrong. Option D. After completion of the transaction, database might be consistent or inconsistent. Keep in mind friends, after the completion of a transaction, database must be consistent. Okay, must be consistent, because it is given are inconsistent. Because are inconsistent, it is false statement. So option D is also the correct answer, because question is about false. Now in question 1, because asked about false, so that both option A and option D are the answers for the question number 1. Question number 2. Choose the correct transaction life cycle among the following diagrams. If there are set of operations of a transaction, when it is executing the operations, we call it is active state. And it executed even the last operation except commit operation. We call it is partially committed state. Even commit operation is executed, it enter into the failed state. And after commit operation, it should enter into the committed state. So option A wrong, because it is given failed state. After partially committed, it should be committed state after commit operation executed. At any time during the execution of the transaction, a failure may be possible, so that it enter into the failed state from active state. And keep in mind, failure is possible before transaction commits. So means even after partially committed, failure is possible. If failure occurs, it has to be recovered from the failure, so that it enter into the aborted state. So option B is the correct answer for the question number 2. And check for option C, first committed then partially committed. Actually first partially committed then committed. So option C is wrong. From active, it cannot go directly to the commit. Means first it should enter into the partially committed, then it enter into the committed state. So that this is incorrect. Option D is incorrect. So answer for the question number 2 is option B. Question number 3. Consider the following transaction schedules. S1 and S2. These are the two schedules given. Choose the correct option that holds for the schedules S1 and S2. The options are given about serializable, non-serializable options are given. And to verify serializability, we have two options, conflict serializability and view serializability. And to verify conflict serializability, we have to draw precedence graph. In the precedence graph, we have to draw one vertices for each of the transactions. Because we have two transactions, we have to draw two vertices. And we have to draw an edge for each of the conflict operations. What were the conflict operations? Read-write conflict we have, write-read we have, and write-write we have. These are the three conflict operations. Now observe friends, these are the operations on same data. Here XXX, XXX, operations on same data by different transactions. These are the three conflicts. Now to draw precedence graph, you have to check both the schedules carefully for the conflict operations. If any conflict operation is there, you have to draw an edge between the transactions. Now here you look, read A, this is operation you have to verify with operations of T2. Now this is A, this is B, operations of different data will not be conflicts. This is write A, again this is B, not a conflict. And this is write B, this is read B, it is a conflict from transaction 2 to transaction 1. Because the schedule do not have any cycles, we can call the schedule is serializable. And check with T1, write A conflict with read A, we have an edge from 1 to 2. And write A also conflict with read A, so we have an edge from 2 to 1. So that we have a cycle from T1 to T2, so that we can say the schedule is not serializable. So what we conclude, S1 is serializable, S2 is not serializable. So answer is option A. What is given? S1 is serializable, S2 is not serializable. Question number 4. There are two schedules, S1 and S2, with same set of transactions. Which of the following are incorrect? Which of the following are incorrect for the view serializability to occur? Option A given, if in schedule S1 transaction Ti reads the initial value of Q, then schedule S2 also transaction Ti must read the initial value of Q. This is a true statement. Actually, view serializability is based on the three rules, that is first read, last write and write read. Here I am writing first read. What does it mean? If in some schedule S1, some transaction T1 performing the first read operation, when I am comparing the schedule 1 with equivalent serial schedule S2, in equivalent serial schedule also the same transaction T1 should perform the first read operation. And the second operation is last write. That is the last write. What does it mean? If in some schedule, some transaction, say T1, performing the last update operation, in another serial schedule, the same transaction should perform the last write operation. And third one is write read. What does it mean, write read? Actually, in a schedule S1, some transaction performing write operation, okay, W operation, and that write is read by some transaction T2, okay, this is reading T2 in schedule 1. In schedule 1, what 2 is reading? The value written by 1. When I am comparing schedule 1 with serial schedule S2, in serial schedule S2 also, that transaction should read a value that was produced by that transaction itself. That is called write rate. Write rates also to be satisfied. Now option A says it is a first read. It is a first read. Now what is the question? Question is about incorrect, but A is correct, so that option A is wrong. Option B says, if in schedule S1 transaction Ti executes a queue and that value was produced by transaction J in schedule S2. Also, transaction Ti must read the value of Q that was produced by write Q. So this is called write read property. This is called write read property of a view serializable schedule. This is also correct sentence. So that question is about incorrect. So option B is wrong. Option C says the transaction that performs final write of Q operation in schedule S1 must also perform the first write. Here this is incorrect. Why? Because here it is talking about first write, but here it is final write. It is given first write. This is incorrect statement. Because it is incorrect, so option C is right answer, because question is about incorrect statement. What is option D given? Some transaction that is performing final write of Q in S1 must also perform final write of Q in S2. That option D says final write rule. It says final write rule. So option D is wrong. Why? Because question is incorrect. Option D is wrong. So which is the incorrect statement? Option C. So answer for the question number 4 is option C. Coming to question number 5. Identify the options that are incorrect for view serializability and conflict serializability. View serializability and conflict serializability. Now option A given. A schedule S is view serializable if it is view equivalent to serial schedule. It is true. It is a definition of view serializability. Option B given. Every view serializable schedule that is not conflict serializable had blind writes. It is also true statement. Why? Because a schedule that is conflict serializable, definitely it will be view serializable. Suppose if a schedule is not conflict serializable, in order to make the schedule is view serializable, the prerequisite to become the view serializability, that the schedule need to have blind write operation. These blind writes are needed when the schedule is not CS but VS, and this is only the prerequisite, but having the blind write not guarantees to make the schedule view serializable. If it is blind write is there, then it has to check for the rules for the view serializability. What were the rules? First read, last write, and third one is write read. These three rules to be satisfied. So, right. So that what is an option B? Every view serializable schedule that is not conflict serializable has blind writes. It is a true statement. Option C given. Every conflict serializable schedule is view serializable. It is true. Just now we discussed every CS definitely be VS. Option D given. Every view serializable schedule is conflict serializable. Means even though schedule is not CS, it is possible to become schedule be VS if there is a blind write operation. But what it is given, every view serializable schedule is conflict serializable schedule. It is given, so that the statement is false. Because question is about incorrect statement, answer will be option D. Question number 6. Given the following two transactions, identify which is valid for transaction T1, T2. These are the operations are given, T1, T2. Option A given, T2 follows two-phase locking protocol. T1 does not follow two-phase locking protocol. Because question is about 2PL, we call two-phase locking protocol. A transaction that follows 2PL always performs locks and unlocks in two phases. We call it is growing phase, and the second one is called shrinking phase. Growing and shrinking phase. In growing phase, the transaction should acquire the locks, but cannot release the locks. In shrinking phase, transaction should release the locks, but should not take the locks. Okay, so that informally growing phase is called locking phase, shrinking phase is called unlocking phase. Now we'll check if the transactions are according to 2PL or not. Look for transaction 1, lock XA, exclusive lock for read and write operation. Yes, read and write. Lock XB, then read operation, and unlock A, unlock B. Means here this is called growing phase, and during growing phase there is no lock released. These are called shrinking phase. During unlocking, between unlocks, we don't have a locks. So means T1 is following 2PL schedule. Look for T2. Lock SA, and lock SB. If it is to be a growing phase, between them there should be no unlocks. But observe friends, here there is an unlock is there. Because unlock is there, it is not following two-phase locking protocols. So that the transaction 2 is not 2PL. So answer for the question is option A says T2 follows two-phase locking protocol. It is incorrect because 2 is not following 2PL. Option B says T1 follows two-phase locking protocol. Correct. T2 does not follow two-phase locking protocol. Correct. So answer for question number 6 is option B. And option C and option D are incorrect. Question number 7. Identify the correct statement about which schedule suffers deadlock. Which schedule suffering with deadlock? Actually, there is a small flaw in the question. Here, the question and option, the schedule has to be given properly. Observe here, after unlock of A, we have lock S of B, read B, lock X of A, read A. So means just assuming these are the operations between these. Then we have operations this one, then this one. Okay. Similarly, here also after read A, this is interleaving. These operations are there. These operations are during the time of this interval. Okay. Actually, this is to be given like this. But okay, because of some printing mistake, this was mentioned like this. Based on this only, we will identify whether the schedules are suffering deadlocks or not. For finding whether the schedule is suffers with deadlock or not, we have to construct a wait for graph. We have to construct a wait for graph for each of the schedule. In the wait for graph, we have to draw one vertices for each of the transaction. Suppose if transaction I waiting for resource that is there with transaction J, we have to draw an edge from I to J. Now observe friends, here both T1 and T2 is operating on the data item A and B. Now look the first operation, lock X of A, means T1 first locked A in exclusive mode. Then performing read and write operation and unlock is done. Because lock is released, it is available to other transactions. Now in transaction T2, the first operation is lock S of B. Now T2 is locked B in shared mode. Then read B, lock X of A. Now because A is released by T1, now it is free and available to T2. So now T2 locks A in exclusive mode, performs read A operation. Then T1 requesting shared lock on B. Okay, T1 requesting shared lock on B. Because B is already held by T2, so what T1 should do? T1 has to wait for whom? T2. So we have to draw an edge from T1 to T2, stating that one is waiting for 2 to release the lock. Because it is waiting, it is continue with other operations. Unlock A, it is unlocked. Unlock B, it is unlocked. Now T1 was waiting. As soon as T1 is as soon as T2 releases the lock, T1 will take a lock on B and continue its execution. As soon as 2 release the lock, so T1 acquires the lock. It means that T1 no longer going to wait for T2 to release the lock. So that because there is no cycles in the wait for graph, then we can say the schedule is not suffering with deadlock. So means we can say no deadlock for schedule 1. We do similarly for schedule 2. We construct a wait for graph. Here in the wait for graph, we have to draw one vertices from each transaction, because 2 vertices, 2 transactions. Right. Now these two are on operations A and B, operations on A and B. First lock X of A, by whom T1 in exclusive mode, then performs a read operation, then lock X of B. Now T2 is requesting exclusive lock on B, then performed read and write. Then T2 is requesting shared lock on A. Now 2 is requesting shared lock on A, which is already there with T1. It does mean that now T2 has to wait for whom T1 to release the lock. Because 2 is waiting for 1, we have to draw an edge from 2 to 1. Because these operations are in the waiting state, further operations are in the waiting state. Next instruction to be executed is T1 instructions, lock S of B. Now T1 is requesting shared lock on B, but B is already locked by 2. It does mean that 1 is waiting for 2 to release the lock, so that this 1 will go into waiting state for whom 2, so that we have to draw an edge from 1 to 2. Now this results the wait for graph to have a cycles, because if there is a cycle in the wait for graph, we can say the schedule is involving under deadlock situation. So that answer for the question is S1 is having no deadlocks, S2 is having deadlocks. Now look, option C says S2 will suffer from deadlock, correct? S1 will not suffer from deadlock, correct? And remaining options are incorrect. So answer for question number 7 is option C. Question number 8. Identify the correct options about timestamp from the following. Here in the timestamp ordering protocol, if any conflict operation is to be executed, then it is to be verified with timestamp of a transaction with timestamp of conflict operation. Suppose if transaction is performing read operation, what is the conflict operations are possible? Write. If transaction is performing write operation, the conflict operations are read and write possibilities. And if any conflict operation is executing, then it is to verify the timestamp of a transaction with the timestamp of a conflict operation. If timestamp of a transaction is less than timestamp of a conflict operation, then such operation is to be rejected and the transaction is to be rolled back. Okay. Now, suppose if it is greater relationship, means if timestamp of a transaction is greater than timestamp of a conflict operation, then the transaction is allowed. Keep in mind these points. Actually, in the textbook, we have 5 rules. 1 on read 2 on read operations and 3 on write operations. And its complete meaning I have explained in 2 points. If it is lesser, it is to be rejected and rolled back. If it is greater, it is to be allowed. Now look for option A. Suppose Ti issues write Q, then Ts of Ti greater than R timestamp of Q. Because it is greater, it is to be allowed. Then write operation is rejected, but actually it should be allowed. So because rejected is there, it is incorrect. If suppose Ti issues write Q, if Ts of Ti less than R timestamp of Q, because if it is lesser, it is to be rejected. Then write operation is rejected, correct, and Ti is rolled back, correct. So B is the correct statement. Suppose Ti issues read Q, then if Ts of Ti lesser means it should be rejected and rolled back. Then read operation is rejected and Ti is rolled back. This is also correct. And option D given, suppose Ti issues read of Q, then if Ts of Ti greater than means it is to be allowed, but what it is given? Rejected. Because it is given rejected, it is incorrect. So what is the correct options for question number 8? Both B and C. Question number 9. Consider the following 2 wait for graphs. It is a graph 1, graph 2. Now question is, choose the option which stands valid for the above graphs. Now here it is given wait for graph. In the wait for graph, you observe if the wait for graph has a cycle, if the wait for graph has a cycle, we can say the schedule involves in a deadlock situation. If there are no cycles, then there is no deadlock. Okay, there is no deadlock. Actually, wait for graph we draw to verify whether the schedule involves in a deadlock situation or not. Now observe figure 1. In figure 1, do we have any cycles? 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 1 to 3, 3 to 2. We don't have 2 to 1h, means no cycle is there. Because no cycle is there, we can say figure 1 do not have any deadlocks, means we say no deadlock in the figure 1. In figure 2, observe T5 to T6, T6 to T7, T7 to T5. So means here we have a cycle from 5, 6, 7, 5, right? Because cycle is there, the figure 2 representing a deadlock situation. So what is the answer for the question? Option A given, figure 1 graph shows possibility of a deadlock. It is incorrect because no deadlock in figure 1. Option B says both graphs figure 1 and figure 2 show possibility of deadlock. Incorrect because figure 1 do not have deadlock. Neither graph of figure 1 nor figure 2 shows possibility of a deadlock. Again it is incorrect because figure 2 is deadlock. Option D says figure 1 graph does not show possibility of a deadlock. True. Figure 2 graph shows possibility of a deadlock. True. So answer for the question is option D. Question number 10. Which of these is not a transaction control language? We call TCL. Which of these is not a transaction control language? Actually, the database languages are classified into different categories, and one of the category is called transaction control language. This transaction control language contains the statements that pertaining to the transactions, like we have rollback, and save point, and commit. These are the statements which is possible under transaction control language category. But here in options it is given update. Update says update of data in the database. Because you are updating data in the database, this update is under data manipulation language. And remaining 3, A, C, D comes under transaction control language. Because question is which of these is not a transaction control language? Update is not a transaction control language. So answer for the question is option B.